Welcome to Cosmic Scene with Jill Jardine. I'm your host, Jill Jardine, Master's in Counseling Psychology, longtime astrologer, psychic healer, and yogi. In today's episode, my guest is Terri, Nicklas, certified financial planner, certified money coach, and certified Canfield success principles. You won't want to miss this episode. We're going to talk about money and more. So stay tuned. Welcome to the episode featuring my guest, Terri Nicklas. Terri is a certified financial planner, a certified money coach, and a certified Canfield Success Principles coach. She has a lot to teach my listeners about money and more. So without further ado, I want to welcome my guest and friend, Terri Nicklas.
Well, thank you, Jill. That was a great introduction.
Always good to have you on the show. And it's been a while since my guests have heard you talk about your work and what you do. And a lot of things, you've added a lot to your repertoire since our last podcast.
That's true.
2020.
Yeah.
So my first question for you is, you specialize in helping women mostly. And I'm just curious, why do you specialize in helping women with their finances and coaching them to make their lives better?
Well, that's a great question. I get asked that question all the time. And there's many reasons why I decided to specialize in helping women. Mostly, the specialty found me, which was interesting. When I first started as a financial planner back 22 years ago, shortly after I did that, a family member lost her husband and left her in a very bad situation. So she came to me for help, and I guided her through the life insurance applications and, claims and setting up bank accounts and finding, where things were. And that whole process took us about a year.
Wow.
And after completing that with her, other people that she knew or knew of the work that I did with her, they kind of found me. And I realized that there are a lot of women out there that either have never been interested in being educated about finances or felt that it was the man's job or for whatever reason just, did not know how to handle their own money in a way that was really going to benefit them. And through work that I've done with you over the years and doing past life regression and really trying to understand a lot of the issues that not only I've faced in my life, but also my clients, it reminded me of a time when I was a little girl and I had an aunt who got a divorce in the early 60s. And that was a time when you didn't hear a lot about divorce.
Right.
And when she was telling her mother about the fact that she was getting a divorce and she was coming out of a very abusive relationship, my grandmother had just lost her husband, my grandfather. He had just passed away, and my grandmother was left in a very bad situation financially. So I remember this like it was yesterday. It's really strange. I can remember them sitting around the dining room table, Jill, and I remember my grandmother saying to my aunt, what are you, crazy? Who's going to take care of you? Instead of thinking, oh my God, she's in such a bad situation that she has to leave, her thought was more on, her finances. And as a little kid, I didn't really understand that. But as I grew up and grew older and looked back, I thought, oh, how terrifying that must have been for her. And how brave that she didn't even have a high school diploma. She left school when she was like 16 and got married very young and had 3 little kids. And yet still, without any resources, knew that she was better off by leaving him.
Right. And that is the case for many women, even in this current time.
Exactly. And that is something I think about her every day. And I think about her and many of the women that I work with that may be better off because they're working, they're professional. But when you're going through a trauma, whether it's divorce, job change, career change, whatever it might be, and in particular everything that's going on today where it seems like every day is a crisis,
right?
Your finances are impacted even if they're not. But mentally, that's the first thing we worry about. Am I going to be okay?
Right. And just as an addendum for my listeners, how did your aunt end up?
Well, it's interesting. She went through a very difficult time. When I was about 12, she had a complete mental breakdown
Uh-oh.
and ended up in a psych hospital.
Hmm.
And we didn't know about it. I mean, this was before cell phones. I
Right.
feel like I'm talking about the dark ages, but when you think back, this was the 60s, early 70s, and she was in there for 3 months before we knew about it.
Wow.
And her children ended up in foster care. While she was in the hospital, the state actually placed them in foster care, and her oldest daughter, who was about 13 or 14 at the time, she thought, isn't it weird that my grandmother hasn't called or my aunt hasn't called? And she decided she went out, went for a walk, went to a payphone, and called her grandmother, my mutual grandmother, and told her what happened. My grandmother almost had a heart attack.
Wow.
So she called my mother, and then they went and picked up the kids. The kids stayed with us for the whole summer. And my aunt eventually did get better. And the blessing was, as time went on, she met another man. And that other man he was fabulous. And they got married. They were married probably 20 or so years before she passed. And she used to say all the time, if I only met him first.
Right. And too bad she didn't have a certified financial planner, Terri Nicklas, show up in her life back then. So tell me, who is your typical client? Besides working with women, tell me what they come to you for. Like, how do you help your typical client?
Oh, that's a great question, Jill. So typically, I'm working with women that are like Gen X. They're usually between 40 and 60 plus. And they're normally in a situation where they're at a crossroads. So they may be considering changing jobs. They might be at a point in their career where they feel like they're hitting the ceiling. Or in the past few years with COVID was like a really big eye-opener for a lot of people because all of a sudden it's right in your face how quickly life can change.
Right.
And for a lot of women, I've seen them asking themselves, is this job bringing me joy? Is this my purpose? And then they'd want to know, what can I afford to do differently? If I were to change jobs or to quit working or retire early, can I afford to do that? And that's the kind of people that have been coming to me, and that's the kind of people I've been helping.
Right. And they're also saying, can I really afford staying with the same husband or partner? And how can I get out of this marriage or partnership and still be sailing my own financial boat?
That's right. Yeah, it's been an interesting journey these past few years with the things that people are suddenly realizing. I've seen more 60-year-olds getting divorced after 30 plus years of marriage.
Right. It's sort of a phenomena. I have that too in my practice with clients. People are making these big life changes because they saw what the alternative is. They already saw that, like, if there was another crisis, is this the person that I'm going to navigate my ship with? No. Is this how I want to be financially, stuck in this rut? No. So they are taking action. Which brings me to your actual system, which is the passion inspired, purpose driven system that helps your clients create financial freedom. What can you tell our listeners about that?
Well, that's a system that I've created over about 20 years. So when I first started in the industry, financial planning was fairly new, and it was a tool that insurance companies were using to sell insurance. So they'd say, we'll give you a free financial plan. And guess what? The financial plan's results were always you needed more life insurance, or you needed all these different things that were going to earn them a commission.
Right.
And they had this great tool, which was the plan, and they never really dove into the plan and like how to get you from point A to point B.
Right.
I thought, what a waste. This is ridiculous. So I came up with a system, and it took me probably 20 years to fully develop it, where I would take that same process of gathering the data, but then I would use it as a coaching module because I dive into what are you passionate about, what is your life purpose, how much is that going to cost, and what do we need to do to get you there, and take you through a step-by-step process so that you can attain not just wealth and financial freedom, but the lifestyle that you really want, what I call your big, bold life, and that you can have that with a sense of certainty, clarity, and confidence.
Beautiful. My guest is Terri Nicklas. You can find her at her website, www.wellnesswithterri.com. wealthcoachforwomen.net. When we come back, we're going to talk about your coaching, money coaching, and the certified Canfield Success Principles coaching. So stay tuned. Welcome back. My guest is Terri Nicklas, certified financial planner, certified money coach, and certified Canfield Success Principles coach. Terri, I'm really excited to find out more about the certified Jack Canfield Success Principles and what that program was about and how you can help people with this. Can you tell us more?
Sure. So with the certified financial planning, everybody pretty much knows what that is. That's your
Right.
basic, gathering your financial information and putting it together. And then the money coaching is getting to the root of your limiting beliefs and behaviors around money. So it has nothing to do with your personality.
Yes.
It has to do with the archetypical behavior around money. And these are memes that come up from things you learned as a child, things you picked up in your community, and also just your own basic decisions that you've made around money for whatever reason. And then the Jack Canfield coaching, what that does is it adds another layer. And this is a layer that talks about your passions, your purpose in life, what brings you joy, and where you need to take responsibility for the outcome of your life. And by having all of that information, including those basic financial tools, now we can not only help you find a way to get to that side of the things that bring you the most happiness, but also understanding what that's going to cost. So what is it that you need to do to have the money available to do the things that make you happy?
Beautiful. Some of my listeners might not even know who Jack Canfield is. So this is a time to enlighten them to who this great teacher is.
You know, it's funny, I hear that all the time, and it always amazes me because I've been following him for so many years. But Jack Canfield was the co-author of the Chicken Soup for the Soul series. He has a PhD in education and spent a great deal of time helping classrooms discover the tools that they would need to use for students to help build this self-esteem. So he actually wrote a program called Self-Esteem in the Classroom. And that has been used for many years all over the country, actually all over the world.
Wow.
And in 2005, I believe it was, he wrote the book Success Principles. And that's really a culmination of all the work that he had done up to that point and really discovering what is it that makes one person successful against another person. And when we talk about success, we're not just talking about what's in your pocket. We're not just talking about money. We're talking about what makes you happy. Do you have a happy life? Are you happy with the life that you have? Or do you always feel like you're unfulfilled and something is missing? And the tools that he shows people how to use are just amazing how you can shift your whole perspective on the way that you're living your life. And I've seen that when you take that and then you tie it into the financial piece, you tie it into the money stories that you've been telling yourself and your self-worth and all of it working together, the outcome is just amazing of how you can suddenly create a life for yourself that really brings you a lot of joy and fulfillment.
Right. And it sounds like, as we know, money is the means to the end. But do you ever have people who come and they're like, yeah, money isn't really my issue, but I'm trying to achieve goals A, B, C. And what are some of those goals they might be looking for outside of actually financial growth?
Well, you know, it's funny because when I'm working with I work with a lot of spiritual people. And for a lot of them, they have a very strong inner conflict with money and prosperity.
Right.
Because they feel like money isn't spiritual and, oh, if I want money, if I want to earn a good living, then I'm not spiritual. And that's not true. Money is very spiritual. Money is an energy. And it's
Right.
either flowing towards us or it's flowing away from us. And for those folks, helping them understand that the work that they're doing is very important. And if they're not financially successful, they can't keep their practice going, which means they can't help anyone.
Right.
And when I can help them break that down, now they can see their value. And this is what is essential for them to be successful at their craft.
Right. Do you ever get people too who might come and they're like, okay, I've attained success. here, let's say they're in their late 50s going into their 60s. I've attained success, a level of success in my work, whatever their professional work is. And now I feel like I just have other things that I want to attend to. Like generally, people do work towards spiritual awakening toward the end of their life or as they get to the later part of their life. And so this is something that's not as popular in our society, but I see it becoming more popular because money can't buy you love, money can't buy you peace. So do you get many people who want to be on a spiritual path and money's only a piece of it because it is the means to the end? I mean, that it seems to be a trend in our society.
Well, it's an awakening. Is
Right.
what it is. And yes, I do see that. And one of the first exercises that I do with a client is helping them understand what is that thing that they're really looking for. And money is just a tool.
Right.
So the first question I'll ask them is, what is important about money to you? And I ask for a one-word answer, and usually they come back with something like freedom.
Right.
And then I'll ask, well, what is important about freedom to you? And we keep going with that process until they get to what it is that's most important. And when they see what is most important to them, it's like all the other pieces come together. And yes, the money is the tool that's going to help them get there, but that's not what they're chasing. What they're chasing is a particular lifestyle. It is some kind of an experience in their life that they really want to have, what they want to attain.
Oh, beautiful.
It could be, I've had people say to me as we go through that process that they want to start a foundation. They have a cause that's really important to them that they want to be a solution to, and they don't know how to get there. But they're only focusing on the money because that's what they're taught. And that's why I try to break it down to help them understand that, yes, the money is a tool, but it's not the end-all, be-all. We have to have something to aspire to. Like, where is your ladder leaning? Do you have your ladder leaning against the right wall?
Yes, that's beautiful. So it's almost like you do with this work that you're doing with people, you're actually doing a psychological unraveling to get to their core need, at what their core need is at that point in their life or in their existence at that time.
You're right. And I think that for most people, especially as we get into our 50s and 60s, and we kind of, for many of us, we feel like we're on the back nine. So we're kind of, looking back over the years and we're saying to ourselves, like, have I been doing this right? Am I missing something? And for those folks, it's often they just want this sense of purpose. They want to know that when they leave this earth, they're leaving deep footprints in the sand, whatever that means to them. And helping them uncover what that means to them is not only an eye-opening, enlightening moment, but now they feel fulfilled. And when you have that sense of fulfillment, now you have a deeper sense of joy, and it ties into your purpose. And that's why I call it passion-inspired, purpose-driven coaching, because it's really, what is your purpose? What is really important to you? What are you passionate about? And when you find that out and you realize you're on that path, you're like the steam engine. Nothing's going to stop you.
That's beautiful. And in the Vedic paradigm, what I hear you saying is that we have 4 aims of life, and they are artha, which is the wealth, which we tend to spend our early life trying to achieve. But there's 3 other aims, and those include dharma, which is the purpose driven. What is my purpose in this incarnation, or what are my purposes? Then we have to clear karma, which gets in the way of achieving. And guess how you clear karma? By seva, which is service. And then there is the kama, which doesn't really fit into what we're talking about, but that's desires. But, people have desires of what they would like to have in life. And then it ultimately leads to liberation, moksha. And so it seems like you're helping people in these 4 aims of life. And that's a beautiful thing, because many people who do the work you do, they're only focused on the one aim.
Right.
They're not making it a holistic model for people. And you're doing that. Again, you can contact Terri Nicklas and experience these Canfield success principles by working with her. at www.wealthcoachforwomen.net. When we come back, we'll talk about your online course and other ways that people can work with you and what this course is about.
Okay, great.
Welcome back. I'm with Terri Nicklas. Terri's going to talk about her online course offerings and more. Hey, Terri.
Hey, Jill.
So you have an online course coming out. It's 6 weeks to financial freedom. Can you tell my listeners more about this course?
Sure. This course was actually inspired by everything that went on with COVID. Because as I was working with clients, I had a lot of prospects in the pipeline at the beginning of 2020. Then COVID hit, a lot of people were losing their work or they weren't sure, they had so much uncertainty. So they said, well, I'm going to have to hit pause on working with you. And I saw that they still needed my help.
Yes.
And I thought, and I just did a lot of meditation around this, and I thought, how can I serve them in a way that's affordable for them and not taxing on me? And that's how I came up with the online course. So it will be all virtual, all online. It's 6 modules. That's why I call it 6 weeks to financial freedom. And each module should take you about a week to go through. There's a number of exercises in each module, along with your basic financial tools like, figuring out your budget and things of that nature. It will also help you dive into your money mindset, which we know that 80% of your success is based on your mindset, so it helps you uncover your money mindset and find ways to improve it. And then it's also a lot of work around gratitude and around goal setting.
That's beautiful. Anything else you can share? Give them a little bit of a tidbit to chew on before they can enroll in the course?
Well, the course will probably be coming out around the end of the month, so anybody that's interested, they can certainly send me an email through my website and let me know that they're interested, so I'll put them on the list so they'll get one of the first notices. But one of the things with the course that I think is really distinctive is that when you get through all 6 modules, you will have created for yourself a very basic financial plan. So it's not something that's going to dive into a lot of depth because it is an online program, but at least it will give you a foundation and it will give you an understanding of where you stand right now in comparison to your goals.
That's beautiful. It sounds like you're combining all your specialties of financial planning, of money coaching, and bringing in some of the Canfield success principles when you made this course.
I did. That's exactly what I did. So they get the full money coaching modules, the 4 core process that is part of the course. And then they get an overview with the Canfield piece. And then they also get a really good understanding with the financial planning piece. So they get a really good basic financial plan. And then they can look at the other pieces and see how they all interact in their life.
That's beautiful. My bet is there's nothing like this out there.
No, I think you're right, Jill. I don't think there is anything out there like this. I know that with my colleagues, other financial planners, I don't know any other financial planner in our area that is also a certified money coach and certified in success principles.
And our area is Boston. So that's a wide net. So this is great. They can get this course by going on to wealthcoachforwomen.net when it comes out. But I think in the remaining minutes, I'd love for you to share any of the wisdom that you gleaned or any advice you have for my listeners that you've gleaned from the years of doing your work, and maybe some words of encouragement if somebody's stressed out about their financial future.
Well, I think that the best piece of advice that I can give a person is to, if you are stressed out about your financial well-being, ask yourself if you have any self-worth issues, because generally that's what I find. When people are stressed out about their finances, it's because they have issues around their self-worth. And as I've said many times, your self-worth is very closely connected to your net worth. The other thing that you want to look at is, are you depriving yourself? Are you more generous with other people as a way of trying to make yourself feel more worthy? So really taking a strong look at that. I have a woman that I've been working with for many years, and that was actually her problem, was that she would literally lay down in traffic for another person, and she, would stand and get hit by a bus if it was for herself. So she had a time when she bought a car for one of her family members because she felt like that family member needed a new car more than she did, even though she was driving a broken down car and she was driving her child around in that broken down car. So she had a lot of self-worth issues that needed to be addressed. And once we started working really hard on that, and once she identified that, it was like the lights went out. It was unbelievable to see her reaction when she started to put all of those things together. And now she's at a point where not only is she feeling better about herself, but she's feels so much more worth that she's actually saving money where before she wouldn't have even bothered.
Wow, that's a great story. So there you go. I love that gem. A good sense of self-worth will improve your net worth.
It's true. Because if you don't feel good about yourself, you're not going to be doing things that are good for yourself. And often those things that aren't good for yourself sabotage your finances.
So what are your final words of inspiration for our listeners?
Nothing is hopeless. If you feel like you could be in a better place, you probably could. Invest in yourself and get the help that you need, whether it's investing in a course or working one-on-one with an advisor. But if you feel like you need help, it's never too late. Get the help you need. You deserve it. You deserve to invest in yourself.
Beautiful words of wisdom. You deserve it. My guest has been Terri Nicklas, Certified Financial Planner, Certified Money Coach, and Certified Canfield Success Principles Coach. Thank you, Terri.
Thank you, Jill. It's been fun as always.
I hope you enjoyed this episode with my guest, Terri Nicklas, Certified Financial Planner, Certified Money Coach, and Certified Canfield Success Principles Coach. Remember to download, subscribe, share, and give us a 5-star review. This is Cosmic Scene with Jill Jardine, sending you fine financial vibes through the quantum field.